Today on the CTV News at 5, the province steps in to stop legal strike action by more than 1,000 Alberta long-term care workers. Plus,
I just really love helping and seeing the joy that brings to other people.
How local missionaries are helping High River flood victims. And 2 hikers tell their harrowing escape from a bear attack near Fernie, BC.
CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. We begin with a developing story. The Alberta government has stepped in to stop looming strike action by 1,200 workers at 8 seniors care centres, including 1 in Lethbridge. The province invoked a disputes inquiry board just hours after the Alberta Union of Provincial Employees announced that its members would legally go on strike Monday at the care centres. Now, the walkout would have affected care for 1,000 seniors. Residents here at the Extended Care Lethbridge Fairmont Park would have been those affected. The AUPE served 72-hour strike notice today after Extended Care management pulled out of mediation talks. Union leaders say the company is proposing to reduce take-home pay and cut sick time, and they warn that that would impact the quality of care for residents. The board is now to sit down with both parties over the next 45 days to try and hammer out a deal. During that time, Extended Care can't lock workers out and the staff can't strike. If there is no resolution reached, the province can impose a settlement through a third party. They were sent to southern Alberta as missionaries for the Mormon Church, and now they have a different kind of mission to help southern Alberta recover from last month's devastating floods. Early this morning, about 50 LDS missionaries headed out of Lethbridge, bound for High River, and another day of shoveling, hauling, and cleaning up. Terry Vogt reports.
The volunteers begin arriving as the sun edges its way over the horizon. They may be tired from the early morning start, but there are plenty of smiles, and the laughter is almost contagious.
I just really love helping and seeing the joy that brings to other people.
Most of these volunteers are not Albertans, but have made their homes here while serving missions with the LDS Church. Margot Mazzalimi was born in South Africa, but is excited about the prospect of doing what missionaries are supposed to do.
It's just knowing that, people just love perfect strangers, and that they are willing to, take out their time, to give up their time, and to just go and be representatives of Albertans.
Service is one thing that unites us as humans. We all believe in helping each other, I think, when disasters happen.
These volunteers aren't sure exactly what to expect, but they do know it will likely involve wading through mud and debris. This video shows other Mormon volunteers helping in Calgary and other southern Alberta communities, tearing up wet and mud-stained carpets, ripping down drywall and water-soaked insulation, throwing damaged furniture and appliances into dumpsters. In High River, they help to clean up the United Church.
We just want to do it. We want to help others. We want to be like Jesus Christ, and that's basically why we answer yes to the call.
These missionaries will be returning home later tonight, but more volunteers will take their place in the coming days. About 200 local LDS Church members will be heading out Saturday morning to continue a cleanup that's far from finished. Terry Vogt, CTV News, Lethbridge.
The LDS Church is providing help in other ways, too. They've provided cleaning kits and essential items used in the recovery efforts, like masks, goggles, and rubber boots. And they've also provided generators, pumps, and tools for cleaning out homes. Members of the Mormon Church have also donated truckloads of baked goods and canning and clothing, blankets, diapers, as well as water to shelters and communities. RCMP in High River are coming under investigation. The Complaints Commission is looking into whether officers broke the rules by seizing homeowners' guns. Officers took the guns when searching evacuated homes during the flooding. The commission is an independent agency and is calling this inquiry a public interest investigation. Southern Albertans got more wild weather last night. It looked more like a snowstorm than a hailstorm hit Stavely. That community was hit by a noisy hailstorm, which included a heavy black rotating cloud. While the hail inside the community was marble-sized at the nearby campground, It was the golf ball size. There doesn't appear to be any structural damage to homes or businesses, but a lot of trees are looking a lot thinner.
We saw this coming and we heard the alert, and I just finished doing about 6 hours of gardening when this hit. So
That's trash now.
it kind of looks like it, yeah.
A southwestern Saskatchewan community is also cleaning up after a wicked storm there in Shaunavon. Strong winds and heavy rains knocked down trees and left streets flooded. Environment Canada has confirmed a tornado touched down in an isolated area between Shaunavon and the community of Dillard. No injuries have been reported. Okay, luckily, Dory, it's cooled off a lot from the start of the week, and that's really good news because we've got the Coaldale Settler Days Candy Parade coming up tomorrow. Weather's a big factor.
Yes, we know. And we do have a system that we're watching right now. The core of it is in northern BC. It's rotating into northern Alberta. So there are tornado watches out for areas in Grand Prairie and Slave Lake, but that's not going to be affecting the southern part. What's going to affect the southern part is some thunderstorms rolling through, and we're expecting that tonight and possibly later in the day tomorrow. Could see a little shower tomorrow as well, but parade should be able to get off to a good start. Sun and cloud mix, hopefully, to start the day.
Thank you, Dory. More weather's coming up. New details today about the brutal murders of a Calgary radio sportscaster, Bill Powers, and his wife, Donna Lee. An autopsy shows 71-year-old Powers and his 64-year-old wife were stabbed to death in their Calgary home early yesterday. 35-year-old Derek Puffer is charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder. It's believed Puffer is Powers' stepson and lived with the couple. Police were called to the neighborhood yesterday by someone reporting a naked man sitting on the side of the road. Sources tell CTV News the man told officers, "I killed my parents." Powers retired as the sports director of QR77 Radio 4 years ago. 2 hikers are telling their tale of survival after they were attacked by a grizzly bear near Fernie. Brian Braconnier and Keith Farkas were hiking in an area well known to them Wednesday when they came across the mother bear and her cub. The mother bear charged both men, knocking one down an embankment, attacking the other on the arm and shoulder. The outdoorsmen had to discharge pepper spray and shoot the grizzly to finally make the animal back down.
We found a safe zone, and I said, "I'm bleeding bad. I need to bandage myself up."
Something that you'd never think would happen in your life, and it does.
The men were able to perform first aid on each other and then get to hospital with relatively minor injuries. Conservation officers are searching for the grizzly to make sure it wasn't badly injured. Shannon Patterson has more on the search.
This happened near the top of Mount Proctor.
Conservation officers spent the day scouring these woods northwest of Fernie.
We found some clothing articles and some other evidence and blood and tracks in the dirt to confirm it was a grizzly bear.
A mother grizzly attacked 2 experienced outdoorsmen here.
We suspect that the sow became defensive to protect her cub, attacked one of the men, knocking him down the bank about 20 to 30 feet, attacking him in his shoulder and arm areas. He was able to deploy bear spray that he had.
But that didn't scare the bear off. She charged the other man.
That individual had a shotgun, and at very close range, within 5 feet or so, was able to discharge 1 shot at the bear. The bear continued its attack on him, knocking him down the mountain and attacking him in the arm and upper shoulder area as well, before it proceeded off into the bush with its cub.
The men were able to perform first aid on each other and get to hospital with relatively minor injuries.
You guys have still bear spray?
Yeah, we still have a lot. The attack not all that surprising at this local store.
But there's been an aggressive sow in that area for going on 3 years now.
How did you know that?
They post signs all the time. And I mean, all my friends riding there, I've seen the bear. She's been bluff charging people.
Conservation officers took one of the victims up in a chopper to help search for the mother grizzly.
We're not looking for the bear to kill it. That's not what we're doing. We just want to make sure it's not suffering. And if it's wounded and not badly wounded and it can live, we'll let it live.
He says the grizzly was simply doing what mama bears do, protecting her cub. Shannon Patterson, CTV News.
Well, the hikers said that they shot the bear to defend themselves. There was no evidence that the animal was actually injured, so wildlife officers don't feel that's an issue. The trails on Mount Proctor reopened today. As warm weather continues to shine down on southern Alberta, many families are looking to get their kids more active and enjoy part of downtown Lethbridge. Galt Gardens hosted the annual Shelter Me Party in the Park event, and as Keaton Gerbervac explains, it was a day the whole family could enjoy.
Galt Gardens was full of family activities today as it hosted the 4th annual Shelter Me Party in the Park. Families were encouraged to come out and support community groups and to disband the notion that the downtown park is unsafe. There was face painting and bouncy castles that the kids could enjoy, as well as music to keep the crowd entertained.
I just love the people in the community coming together and being with everybody in Galt Gardens, because I think that Galt Gardens may be one of those parks that has a little bit of stigma trapped around it in our community.
Events like this in Galt Gardens serve two purposes. One is to bring awareness to those social issues facing some in the community, and the other is to encourage families to come out and have a good time in downtown Lethbridge, which is a win-win for the community. Members of the Downtown Beat say they like to see these types of events because it brings a sense of community back to an area that has been shown in a negative view in the past.
It just highlights how things have changed significantly in the last few years, and how it's a better mix of people getting along and everyone's showing respect to each other, and how that goes a long way, rather than trying to outcast certain people or to blame certain people for all of the issues that that happen all the time.
And the idea is to kind of dispel the myth of Galt Gardens and to raise awareness and diversity about the homelessness issue and bring people together of all walks of life.
Amnesty International and many of these community groups are dedicated to social justice, and they say events like this are a fun way to bring the community together and break down stereotypes. Keaton Gerbervac, CTV News at Galt Gardens.
Straight ahead, Dory's got your weekend forecast. First, though, check out the markets.